So I says to Mabel, I said...
Oh, hey, I think we're...
Sorry.
Thanks, John. Appreciate that. But, all right, so welcome to CRTLabs office hours. That was the worst attempt. I think that's the worst. That wasn't your fault. That was just a bad...
Yeah.
So, yeah, CRTLabs. You'll note we don't have our screen up this week because it's packed away. And it's on its way to Orlando where we're having our annual convention. We are going to be at booth 208. We're going to spend time this week talking about the convention and what we'll be doing there. But before we do that, I do want to promo really quickly a series of articles I wrote this week on the DDoS, the distributed denial of service attacks that happened last week. And the first one being an overview of what happened in that whole thing. The second being about making better passwords for yourself. And the third being about what manufacturers can do to prevent these types of attacks from happening in the future. So if you haven't done it, I would encourage you to take a look at those, especially 2 and 3. 2, so you work on making stronger passwords for yourself and your business, and 3, because you need to know what manufacturers are doing, who's doing it well, and who needs to improve upon it. So just wanted to quickly throw that out there.
They're on our website at crtlabs.org.
Oh yeah.
They've also, I'm sure, been syndicated out to this very Facebook page.
Right, they have.
So have a look at those. He's Chad Curry, by the way. I'm Joe Sullivan.
Yes, thank you. I
You're
didn't
welcome.
say that.
You're welcome.
Sorry, Joe. All right, so Joe's up here because we're going to talk about some stuff that we're doing. Now, we've been talking about the annual, but I want to talk about what it is we're doing and why we're doing it. We have 3 real pillars of CRT. Those are advocacy, education, and innovation. And advocacy, we want to advocate for the proper use of technology. Education, we need to educate members on what's happening out there. And innovation, we're building stuff for you. And so we're going to show some of that stuff. So I wanted to talk about these 4 areas. Actually, first, giveaways. This is really important to get people to the booth. We've got some giveaways. Joe, what are we giving away at the booth?
We are giving away, Chad, we're giving away Amazon Dots.
Amazon Echo Dots.
Echo Dots. So we're going to grab one right now. For those of you that are familiar with the Amazon Echo, the big speaker that can be used as a Bluetooth speaker, but really the best part of it is that it contains the voice assistant Alexa. And what we're giving away is sort of version 2 of this, which is called the Dot, which is basically, it has a little speaker in it. Other than that, but it's shorter, doesn't sound as good as the regular Echo, but this has exactly the same voice-activated assistant technology in it. $50.
Yeah.
Awesome thing, and we've got some to give away.
Now, we also, it connects with Bluetooth speakers, so
yes.
That's one of the reasons they did this, I think, is to make it so you can connect to a Bluetooth speaker and use that to play music, but also to hear Alexa wherever you're at, right? The voice back. Yeah, so the cool thing about this, it can be a great closing gift. You can buy these, you buy 5, get 1 free, and that's $250. And you have 6 closing gifts you could give out to people. A new homeowner, giving them 5 of these would be really great for them to have around the house.
And out of the box, these things do really great things like answer questions like, do I need an umbrella?
Yeah.
It sets timers for you when you're cooking. It does all sorts of great stuff. But more and more smart devices are easily configurable to work with this right now.
Yeah.
So you can do things like control thermostats and control your Sonos music system.
Yeah.
It works with things like Pandora and Spotify. They're awesome. So stop by and try to win one.
Yeah, you can also ask it what time the Cubs game is tonight.
Yes.
That's another question you can ask as well. All right, so that's giveaways. So let's talk about what we're going to have at the booth. And this is where there'll be some divergence. We'll talk about some of the things that are there for education, some of the things that are there for advocacy, and some of the things that are there for innovation. So let's talk about education first. So Joe, what kinds of devices are we bringing to the booth? We've got some smart locks.
Yes.
And actually, let's take a little trip. We'll do this in 2 parts. We'll take a trip, so let's come over this way, and we'll show you some of the things that we're doing for the smart locks. Now you see Chris and Dave are working diligently. Chris on code for something we're calling Rosetta Home 2 Electric Boogaloo. And then Dave is working on our smart home locks here. So this is actually, Dave, if you don't mind impromptu being a part of this, sure. We'll talk about this smart lock. So Dave's actually been working on building these bases so we can actually have smart locks for you to try out at our booth. And we have this one here, Dave. What's the one you have?
So the Schlage lock here, this is a Z-Wave lock. This is actually one of my favorite smart locks on the market right now. Some things I like about it, it has a touchpad, so you don't need to have your phone. It also feels the most sturdy of all the smart locks that I've personally tested. It also has a built-in siren that can detect tampering. So if someone is trying to break in, it can sound an alarm. You don't need your keys. Z-Wave is very reliable, and it's only about 150 bucks.
Excellent, yeah. And so we have this other one here. What I wanted to show is Dave's actually putting bases on them right now here at the workbench.
Yeah, we found them to be a bit top-heavy, and before we take them to the convention, we just wanted to add some bases to it.
Make them safe for you to use. And also we'll have tablets down there, Android tablets, that you can use to interact with these devices as well and get a sense of how these work. So you can ask us questions about these devices, about how they operate, and it's a place for you to learn more about smart home technology. And so locks are just one of the verticals we'll be having down there. And then what else? Oh, so when we talk about innovation, I'm going to jump to innovation just because we're over here. And I want to show some of the things we're going to have. We're actually going to bring our boards, these boards right here, which we can use, you can actually interact with and gather data from. So, whoops, I dropped the board. So yeah, so we'll have boards that are assembled, and you'll be able to see data, actual data from the room. Now we've built two types of boards. I'll show you the other one here. Thanks, Dave. This is the Pi AQ, the Raspberry Pi hat, Pi AQ, and it goes for, well, the Raspberry Pi itself is a computer that goes for about 35 bucks. The Pi AQ is a hat that sits on top, and it makes this a smart device. It actually is able to capture data and transmit that data back to us about the space.
Yeah.
So.
Measures nine different things, everything from heat and humidity to barometric pressure to nitrous dioxide to volatile organic compounds, and it'll tell you how healthy your house is.
Right, and also, yeah, and humidity levels and CO2, there's some other things there.
Carbon monoxide,
and
yeah.
carbon monoxide. Not radon. We get a lot of questions about radon. The problem with radon right now is that the sensors are very, very expensive. So, hey, Adrian, your headphones are plugged in. Is that the microphone? I just thought about that. Is that going to affect the microphone?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we also have gotten a couple of pieces from. We've also gotten a couple of pieces from a company called Orison Energy. Orison makes a smart home battery. The battery itself comes in two forms. One is a tower about this tall, and one is a panel that goes on your wall and looks like a frame, a picture frame, as it were. And those actually hold the energy, and those hold the energy and will distribute it back through your house. You can actually see what those look like, different form factors, so that's pretty cool as well. And then we have software that Chris is working on. Chris, you're working on, you mind talking a little bit about what you're working on with your software? Can we turn your way and just kind of talk a little bit about
first?
Oh, the case?
The case.
Oh. Well, all I wanted to do was talk about the software. Yeah, here we have the case. So we're 3D printing a case here.
Fashion.
Can you see it from that?
Yeah.
All right. So we're 3D printing the case here. This is a case for a Raspberry Pi that'll run the software that Chris is currently working on. So it's called Rosetta Home, and it actually will show us data from all the devices that we're working with.
So when we're building the hardware that's detecting all this information in the house, you kind of wonder, well, now that I have this hardware, what do I do with it? So the idea behind Rosetta Home 2 is that it will gather all the data from these air quality devices, as well as help you control things you already have in your house, like your thermostat and your lights. Kind of everything under one roof.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Dave. So we'll have LifeX bulbs there, which are smart light bulbs you can control from any device. The software Chris is writing will work at that because we actually want to work with devices you can access locally, and there's one of the devices you can do that with. We're also going to have our smart home checklist there. We'll have a couple different versions. Actually, Joe's working on a web version of the smart home checklist. And the smart home checklist is a checklist of devices. We'll move this way, actually, Joe. Let's come back
Okay.
this way. And we'll walk while we talk
After
about
you.
this. Yeah. So the smart home checklist is our list of devices, our list of things to look out for when working with devices. It looks like this right here. This is something to do when you close in a home. You want to make sure all the devices are reset, and that's a good way to do that with your fellow homeowners. And Joe is working on a smart home checklist. It's actually a mobile app. He's working on the experience of that, and then we'll build this into a mobile app. So Joe, if you want to show some of those.
Yeah, so for example, you'll be able to go into a home if you're dealing with a property that has smart home technology. You'll be able to select a category. Let's say that there's a thermostat there. You will be able to select from thermostats. You'll be able to scroll through and find the one, or the smart lock. This is actually smart locks. Find the one that you actually want to or need to help the buyer or the seller reset. Add it to a checklist. That will get sent to us, and then we will return information about how to handle it. Because, as I like to say, these things are not necessarily trivial. You don't want smart lock companies to just pick up the phone and say, hey, we're going to reset this smart lock for you, because then every thief would do it. So there are some certain things that you have to step through, and this will make it easier to identify what's in a house and to get instructions on how to deal with it properly. So I'll have a prototype of this at Annual.
Awesome, great. And also, we're going to be doing this next week from the conventions floor. And we'll actually be showing you some of the stuff and what our layout looks like and where we are in relation to the other booths. We're actually right next to the Realtor Pavilion. And you'll see actually our setup. We've got a lot of components that integrate with what the Realtor Pavilion has in it. So we have some of the same shelving. Now, one of the things that's really interesting that I'm very excited about having actually is an aquaponics station. A company called CRTLabs has given us it's a 3.5. It's a demo station, so we've got it, but it's a 3.5 foot high aquaponics system with a 20-gallon tank. We're going to show what that looks like. It's something that homeowners are going to be more and more interested in when you talk about healthy home, but you also talk about growing your own food and having a really interesting way to do that. We're actually very excited about showing that one as well, actually. Yeah, so that's just a quick overview of what we're going to have at the booth. Stop by and ask us questions about smart homes. We are very interested in questions about privacy and security with smart homes. We think that's really important. We're very interested in hearing what your thoughts are around the smart home.
But Chad, there's more.
Oh, there is more. Thank you,
Yes.
Joe. I was going to say, there's a number of speaking events that a lot of us are doing. Joe actually is the staff executive for the Emerging Business Issues and Technology Forum. And so, Joe, I'd love you to talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Sure. So CRTLabs, as you know, has probably been around. It has been around for a little bit more than a year. The Center for Realtor Technology itself has been around for quite some time, and one of the things that we have sponsored over the years at Annual, both at Annual and Midyear, is the eBits Forum. And this year it will be on Saturday from 1:30 to 3 p.m. in the Convention Center in the Valencia room. And the topic this year is becoming digital for agents and brokers. Some of the feedback we've gotten over the years is that these educational sessions that we put on have been a little bit too agent focused. So we had some brokers asking us what we could present to them. So the idea is that we have five people, both active agents and brokers, going to talk about introducing technology into both small boutique brokerages and large corporate brokerages. They'll be talking about e-signature technology. They'll be talking about cloud storage. They'll be talking about customer relationship management software, CRMs, and they'll be talking just generally about digital efficiency. And they'll be going to be talking about how to get people in a brokerage to become more digitally sophisticated and how to manage this culture of change within these brokerages, both large and small. So it's going to be cool. 1:30 on Saturday in the Convention Center in the Valencia room.
I think it's pretty exciting, the digital efficiency especially, because agents can be overwhelmed with the number of tools that are out there.
Yeah.
And and how do you pare that down and make it a successful workflow.
Yep.
I think that's good stuff.
Yep.
Andrew, do we have any questions, or we have a way to tell
We're
if there's
good.
any questions right now? We're good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And let's see here. Property Management Forum is on Friday. Yours is on Saturday, right? That one's on
Correct.
Saturday. So going back a day, Property Management Forum. I'm speaking at that. It's commercial focus. I'm going to talk about the future of technology and what it means for commercial real estate. Things like traffic monitoring and pedestrian traffic and vehicle traffic. Also, I'm going to talk about what it means to monitor a space and get a sense of how people are in that space and how the buildings themselves can correct either temperature based on the number of occupants, air quality based on the CO2 levels, et cetera, et cetera. I'm very excited to talk to this group. It's actually going to be a 40-minute talk, but I'm really excited about that on Friday. And that's in Orange County Convention Center, West Room 312A, and 10:30 to 12 on Friday. Commercial Pavilion. We're also going to do 3 talks there, Joe.
Yes,
You're
we
doing
are.
You're doing one, and I
Yes,
think Chris
correct.
is going to do one, and Dave's going to do one.
Yes.
So, and those will be 3 different days, though. But I think the times are all the same those 3 days. Is that right?
I believe it's Saturday, Sunday, and Monday
Saturday,
at
Sunday, and Monday.
11 a.m.
There's on Sunday, I believe it's at 11:30.
Okay, on Sunday it's at 11:30. But yes, we'll be the 3 of us will be giving short talks, about 20 minutes, on some of the work that we're doing and its applicability to the commercial space.
Awesome. And I'll be speaking at the Commercial Leadership Forum on Saturday from 9 to 11 at Orange County Convention Center, West Room W206A through C. So I'll be speaking at that leadership
Rolls
forum.
off the tongue.
I know. They're so easy to say. And then Realtor Pavilion, Monday morning, I'll be speaking at 9:30 in the morning on what we're doing here in the labs and showing some of the stuff that we're working on there. That's a lot of what we're doing in the next week. And we also have a number of meetings we'll be attending. I think we're going to go to YPN meeting roundtables just to give more information about what we're doing and how we can work with local YPN networks and present to your networks. We've done that several times, in fact. I think we did one for Fresno recently. Was that a YPN group that we did for
Yes.
Fresno?
Yes, it was.
Right, we did Fresno. We've had a number that we've gone to speak to, but then had them come in here. And also Wednesday, WCR. I'm speaking Wednesday evening at a WCR event. I think 4 p.m. For that as well. But that's it, I think, for annual. We're really excited to see you all there. Joe, anything else you want to say about that?
No, we hope you stop by the booth, booth 208 in the Expo Hall.
Right.
And if you have time, please join us for some of our speaking engagements, because we're going to be talking about some cool stuff.
Awesome. Thank you very much, and have a great day, and we'll see you next week.